Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're demystifying the core mechanics of music and transforming theory from an intimidating, scary subject into a super practical toolkit. If you've ever stared at a sheet of music and felt like you were trying to read alien hieroglyphics, you are absolutely not alone. But today, we're going to break it all down step by step so you can start reading, playing, and really understanding music with confidence.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the language of music, then alphabet and pitch, followed by rhythm, beat, and tempo. Then we'll hit measures and note values and wrap it all up with reading the staff.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the language of music.
You know, music theory gets a bad rap sometimes, but it's often called the language or the grammar of music. The crucial takeaway here is that theory isn't just some boring academic exercise or a bunch of rigid rules meant to suck the fun out of playing. No way. It is quite literally the study of how music works. It's the shared grammar we use to communicate sonic ideas to each other. Just like learning verbs and nouns helps you speak a new language fluently, understanding these concepts lets you actually speak music with absolute clarity.
Moving right along to Section 2, alphabet and pitch.
So, just like English, music has an alphabet. But honestly, the beautiful part? It's incredibly simple. It relies on only 7 natural notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That's it. That is the entire core alphabet. Once you hit G, the sequence just repeats itself endlessly. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and right back to A, B, C. This repeating loop creates what musicians call octaves. So an A played low down on a piano keyboard is the exact same note as an A played way up high, just in a different octave.
And that naturally brings us to pitch. Pitch is just a fancy way of saying how high or low a sound is. Those letters we just talked about represent pitch. High notes give us a bright, sharp sound, while low notes, they give us a much deeper, heavier sound. As you move forward through that alphabet, from A to G, the pitch is naturally getting higher and brighter.
Okay, Section 3, rhythm, beat, and tempo.
Now, beginners mix these terms up all the time, so it's really important to get them straight, starting with rhythm. Rhythm is the overall pattern of sound and silence that organizes music over time. You can think of it as the specific arrangement of long and short notes that gives a melody its groove. Without rhythm, notes would just be floating randomly in the air, kind of a chaotic mess without any real structure. Right underneath that intricate rhythm is the beat. The beat serves as the steady, constant pulse of the music. Think of it this way. If rhythm is the complex melody you're tapping your fingers to on the steering wheel, the beat is your foot tapping steadily and evenly on the floorboard. It is the rock-solid foundation that everything else rests upon.
Actually, you experience beats all day long without even realizing it. Just think of a beat like your own heartbeat, the predictable ticking of a clock on the wall, or even the steady pace of your steps when you're walking down the street. It's regular, it's reliable, and it's what keeps the music moving forward.
So once we have that pulse, we establish the tempo. Tempo simply dictates exactly how fast or slow that underlying beat is actually moving. A slow tempo means slower music, maybe for a sad, emotional, or dramatic song. A fast tempo, that gives you faster music, packed with energy and urgency. To sum it up, the beat is the pulse itself, and the tempo is how fast that pulse is beating.
Next up, Section 4, measures and note values.
To make all this readable on a page, music is chopped up into specific, manageable chunks called measures. Imagine trying to read a massive novel without any periods or paragraphs. It'd be completely exhausting, right? Measures act a lot like sentences. They group beats together so musicians can read and perform accurately. And we use these straight vertical visual dividers called bar lines to separate them on the page.
And here is where the math of music really comes alive. This shows exactly how many beats different notes take up within a measure. A whole note, you hold that out for 4 full beats. A half note is exactly what it sounds like, half of that, so 2 beats. A quarter note gets 1 beat, and an eighth note gets a quick half beat. By mixing and matching these different note values, we create the literally endless rhythmic variations of the songs we love.
Finally, Section 5, reading the staff.
The musical staff is basically our canvas. It's built with a very specific universal framework. 5 horizontal lines, and 4 spaces nestled evenly right between them. This is where we place our notes to visually show their exact pitch. A note sitting higher up on the staff lines means a higher pitch, and a note sitting lower down means a lower pitch. Once you learn the rules, it's an incredibly intuitive visual system.
Now, at the very beginning of that staff, you'll always spawn a symbol, and a super common one is the treble clef.
If you're learning keyboard, flute, piano, or doing vocals, you will be using the treble clef all the time to read your melodies. It basically acts as an anchor point, telling you exactly which line or space matches up with which letter of our musical alphabet.
So, we've covered a lot of grammar today: the alphabet, the rhythm, the math, the staff. But let's take a step back and ask the big question. Why does this actually matter for you as a budding musician? Is it just tedious homework you gotta suffer through?
Definitely not. Understanding these core components is absolutely crucial. It's your ultimate foundation. It helps you learn new pieces way faster because you aren't just guessing anymore. It dramatically improves your reading skills and your overall playing ability. But even better, it gives you the actual tools to compose your own original music, and it unlocks the ability to improvise on the fly. It transforms you from someone who just memorizes where to press a key into someone who truly understands and speaks the language.
Understanding those 7 notes, the rhythm, and the staff is really just the beginning of your vocabulary. You've got the grammar at your fingertips now. But how do we start building actual melodies and emotions? What happens when we shrink the space between those notes? Well, next time in part 2 of our Swaralaya School of Music series, we're going to unlock the secrets of semitones, tones, intervals, and scales. Until then, think about it. What are you going to say with your new language today? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.